Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. One of the things that I really love about YouTube and just the internet in general is that you get to connect with people all around the world. I mean, this is technology. That's one of the things that it has done so amazingly well is that it's able to connect you and help you interact with people that you'll probably never ever meet in real life. And another thing is, if you spend a lot of time on the internet, especially on YouTube, you can learn a lot about other cultures around the world, which is something that was not really possible prior to the internet. Before, if you wanted to learn about other cultures, you'll either have to go to the library and read a book, watch TV, or if you were fortunate, you could actually visit these different countries. Okay, and nowadays, if you just can anything that you want to learn about a country, you can learn a lot of it, through the internet. And once you start interacting with people on the internet, then that's even on another level. Of course, I really think the best way to learn about a culture and the people is to actually go there. But most people are not super rich, and not everybody can travel. Okay, I was fortunate enough to travel in the previous earlier life when I was actually a consultant and I was able to travel to other countries. And one of the areas that I really enjoyed and I wish I would have spent more time there is in Europe. And so on YouTube, one of the biggest places where you're going to see a lot of viewers and a large YouTube community is in Europe, specifically in Eastern Europe. And so I know there's people who are watching my channel who are from Europe, and there are a lot of geeks from Europe, especially if you're the type who loves programming. There's a large contingent of people who are just excellent with technology who lives in Europe, especially in Eastern Europe. Okay, and so prior to this, the last place that I went in Germany, or I'm sorry, in Europe was actually in Germany. I went to Frankfurt, Germany. And so when I was there, I didn't really get to stay there that long, and so I wasn't exposed to a lot of the culture there. But in Eastern Europe, and this isn't really in Germany, but in Eastern Europe, about the only thing that I knew about Eastern Europe was three things. Okay, one, vodka. I mean, two is hard bass. They love their hard bass, or Americans would probably call it hard bass. But in Eastern Europe, it's hard bass. And the last thing that I notice about Eastern Europeans, or anything that I know about them, is Adidas. And Adidas is pretty big everywhere, but it's especially huge in Europe, and especially Eastern Europe. So that's about the only three things that I knew about Eastern Europe. And YouTube's a funny thing. You could be looking for something, and YouTube will show things that might or might not be related. And I was actually looking at a review of a new fighting game called Mother Russia Bleeds, and then YouTube actually recommended this channel to me, and it was just absolutely crazy how awesome it was. And I just had to make a video about it because it was so awesome, and it also introduced me to a lot of Eastern cultures that I never really knew about. And the term that I want to talk about today is Cheeki Breeki. Cheeki Breeki. So what is Cheeki Breeki? Well, I'm about to get into that right now. Okay, so the channel that I'm talking about today is Life of Boris. Now, it's made and it's run by this guy who calls himself Boris, but who also calls himself the Slav Superstar. And I would definitely agree with that. And the reason why I really like this site right away, this channel right away, is the fact that it was interesting from the first time I clicked on one of his videos. And what Boris he does is that he not only entertains you with things that you would expect in the YouTube world, like video games, and that's kind of how I got into this, because he did this Mother Russia Bleeds video. But not only that, but he spends a lot of time teaching you about the Slavic Eastern European culture. And that is something that is unique to me to see, and also at the same time he does it in a way where it's extremely entertaining, and he doesn't reveal his face or anything, and he's always wearing this mask and a lot of Adidas, which is So funny. Now he does live in Estonia, so that's like near Russia. He does speak Russian, but he also speaks many other languages as well. And he does a lot of episodes where he's teaching you about the Slavic culture, but he also spends time teaching you why they do what they do. For example, one of his episodes is why do Slavs wear Adidas? And I've always wondered, why did it wear Adidas? And in that video, he explains it. And another thing that he talks about that I found just really hilarious, and I always wondered myself, is he does a video right here where he talks about where was it? Yeah, how to squat like a Slav. That is so funny, and that's one of many videos that he does that he teaches you about the Slavic culture, the Eastern European culture, which is so amazing because I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to go to Eastern Europe. But learning the things that I do from Boris, it makes me want to learn European culture and actually go there. And so that's one of the many magical things about YouTube, where you could like find something that you didn't expect. And then when you do, you learn something new about a culture or about a technique or about a certain way of thinking that you never really thought about before. And it's channels like that that just make me really happy that we do have YouTube. We do have technologies available now, even outside of YouTube, that help us to connect and learn about many other cultures that we would have never known prior to that. So that is basically my story or my experience with this new channel that I found, which is just simply amazing to me. And the whole thing about Cheeki Breeki, okay, I didn't answer what that means. And you know what? I'm not going to answer what that means because I would suggest you go to the Life of Boris, watch his videos, and he'll explain to you what it means to be Cheeki Breeki.
Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.